Hello, everybody. This is Listening Lotus coming back to you with another reading. Hope everybody's doing well, taking good care of themselves out of there, doing everything that you can to keep yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all the alleys. I said that in another reading and it just kind of stuck with me. So, who knows? It might be the next couple readings I'll be saying that. But yes, I hope that everybody is taking good care of themselves as much as you possibly can and being mindful of not only just yourself and how you're feeling, but your surroundings too, because that's just as important. The environments that you choose to allow yourself to be in. Okay, making sure that the lotus flower in you, that you have the ability to rise from the mud and bloom out of the darkness to radiate in the world and be the best version of yourself that you can be. Okay, don't you ever forget it. Don't you forget it. All right, anyway, not gonna hold y'all. We just gonna go ahead and get started. And we are bringing out the big dogs today because I'm just curious to see what y'all got going on. Seriously, what y'all got going on? If you would like to get a personal reading, you can always click on the link in the description on any of the videos of your liking or choosing and be able to see my schedule and go from there. Okay. Let me find out they ain't got nothing to say. Instead, help you being nosy. Oh, there we go. See, I knew it. I knew it. I just knew it. Okay. Oh man. All right, y'all. So we have is Fruit Jam 21. It reads, if you nurture it, it will flourish. The grass is greener wherever you water it. Okay. And before we even read the paragraph that comes with this card, I mean, it pretty much is saying in the nutshell what you water and what you nurture that you want to see have grow and actually come to fruition. You're going to put a little bit, you're going to, you're going to work for it. You're going to nurture, you're going to put a little TLC. This could be a relationship amongst you and a child, since we do see parent and a child here, or maybe it could even be like an aunt and a niece. Um, just like maternal energy as a whole. I also see they getting fresh air with that window being cracked open on both ends, okay? And really just allowing that breeze to go ahead and hit their hair follicles. So this could definitely be a lot of nurturing vocally or verbally regarding like how you guys are showing up as far as how you're speaking to people in your relationships, et cetera, et cetera. But we just gonna read, and that's gonna be that, because not gonna get me the line. Okay. Keywords for fruit jam is preservation, resourcefulness, and zero waste. Okay. Also, great qualities. It says people the world overlook forward to fresh fruit erupting in the summertime. The sweetness of berries, the sharpness of citrus, and the unique flavors of tropical fruits are a delight to the senses. Sadly, fruit doesn't last very long on its own, which forces our ancestors to find resourceful ways to preserve summer's bounty. You too, my darling, are being guided to make use with what you have to find clever ways to extend the life of your current resources. Okay, so hey, doing the best you can with what you got and to get further and get to the next step. And I feel like even of the resources that whoever has, like you damn near got more than enough than what you think you need. Or yeah, than what you think you need. I'm glad I said I worded it that way. It says you do not need more time, money, or opportunities to be successful. See? I just said it. Because what you have can be enough if you are willing to stay open minded to the possibilities of what it could be. Having more paint does not make you a better artist, in the same way that having more clothes does not make you more stylish. Really taking the time, and this is not in the book, but really taking the time to um, allow your creativity to shine. Okay. Some of the greatest artists made something with literally damn near nothing. I'm telling you, they'll fuck around and figure out a way to let that creativity start flowing. And next thing you know, they done made a Picasso painting out of toothpaste. Crazy work. Never even brushed his teeth. Who does that? I don't know. It says how you use things is what's most important. How you use things, it's what's more important. I had to definitely put emphasis on that. This is your sign that the grass is greener where you water it. In the realm of relationships, consider whether the relationship is truly over. How can you bring fresh energy to your relationship? If you're looking for love, this can be a sign to reconnect with a past lover. Um, okay. My personal preference, y'all, I'm gonna say when it comes to anything in the past, depending on the severity of the situation, scenario, person, place, or thing, that's tough. I'm just throwing my own little personal 2 cents. You ain't gotta listen nor take it. But depending on everything that I just named and said, don't go back to what tried to just what damn near tried to take you up out of here. So be mindful and be very choosy as to who you feel. Use heavy discernment. Heavy discernment. Okay. But if you do feel like there is somebody in the previous past, and this could be even down to certain friendships and stuff, right? That you feel like um it can be rekindled, or you guys can come to a newfound appreciation for the relationship that you guys had. Okay, I almost said God, so maybe you and God, spirit, God's ancestor spirit, all of them things. Hey, might be something that y'all, maybe that was something that y'all had to work through. Something to think about. Just saying, because that was literally just on the tip of my tongue. I was just like, yeah, between you and God. But we talking about relationships. Maybe that is the relationship that you are focusing on nurturing and watering. Ooh, ooh. I had a piece of chocolate, y'all. Y'all know how I get when I have a little bit too much caffeine. If you ain't figured it out by now, you will after watching a couple of these. Depending on the daytime, moon cycle, and all the other good shit. Hey, got a real cartoon on your hands. Anyway, but yes, maybe that is one of the relationships that you are working towards nurturing and watering and flourishing. More of a spiritual connection between you and source or God, spirit guides, ancestors, whoever you choose to use as the actual specific name. Okay, that's up to you. That's you. That is entirely up to you. Okay, I'm just a messenger here. But taking the time to actually cultivate that relationship and watch it to grow and flourish and to not rush it. Allow it to take time. Okay? Because in the process of you learning God, spirit, ancestors, whoever you choose to speak to, okay, fill in the blank on that. However you choose with whoever it is, right? You still are coming back centered to yourself. So you're still watering and nourishing and learning more about yourself with that process still at the end of the day. Okay, and that's gonna be that on that. Let's see what else comes out. Let's see what else comes out. But overall, that's good. So maybe even just getting more spiritually in alignment. Okay, which who doesn't love that? Okay, it says choose wisely. Every choice matters. Choose with intention, and your future will align with your soul's purpose. Okay, I'm gonna definitely put this over here because in the process of nurturing, you have to choose what you actually deem to be um, worth your time and energy and effort to nurture. Okay, and that sometimes takes some time to really figure out what you think is going to get you to your highest good or your soul's purpose or your highest purpose. Okay, so let's see, especially since we're talking about relationships here, but because that was on the tip of my tongue or whatever. But this definitely could be choosing wisely, and that's the reason why I said choosing wisely when you are looking back about even considering to rekindle certain relationships from the past previously or whatever, since that's one of the things that they talked about. Everybody wasn't bad, okay, including you. It's just all about perception and perspective at the end of the day. So let's see what else comes out, and just making sure that whatever choice you choose to make, that you're okay with that choice, and making sure that you stand on it. Yeah. It says sit with the wound. Not everything needs to be fixed right away. Some healing begins when you're willing to stay with what hurts. Okay? And I'm noticing a theme of like in both of these, they're like holding well, one is holding his heart, and the other one is kind of, oh, you can't see. The other one is kind of like holding his midsection. So it just could be like a lot of with the heart chakra area and the abdomen. What is that? The solar. Yeah. Dang, y'all can't see that. Okay, there we go. Boom, boom. Y'all know how I be about my lighting. I be trying to come up with new ways or whatever, but and honestly, sometimes I be lazy. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Hell, we all got our days, times, moments, and sometimes I just be lazy. I try to reposition that shit just right, and then who knows? Go to the bathroom, get up, come back, and be done move. let me let me stop playing with y'all. All right, but yeah, actually sitting with and allowing yourself to actually feel the wound, okay, so that the healing can begin. It's one thing for you to get a paper cut and then you be like, damn, I got a paper cut. But to actually sit with it while you're trying to find that damn band-aid and you realize that, damn, this cut low key is deeper than what I thought it was. You know what? This shit actually hurt. That's kind of what we got going on. It says reap what you sow, okay? The energy you put out will return to you. So choose wisely, okay? They telling you choose wisely. Okay? Be mindful of how you're showing up for people and not only that, yourself. Being mindful of how you're showing up for yourself and others regarding all the different alleys, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of them, okay? It says choose wisely as you will reap what you sow. What you put out is what you get back. That's how energy works at the end of the day. And to be mindful of that shit 24/7. I cannot express it enough because a lot of times we tend to forget. But energy don't forget, okay? That shit don't need no sleep. It ain't got to punch in. It ain't got to clock in and clock out. It's always there. So be mindful. Be mindful. All right, let's see. I like be mindful instead of choose wisely. They both are kind of like a precautionary, like, hey, hey, whoa, whoa, hey, let's think about this. Okay, because it's always good to, yeah. It says healing the emotional trauma. Let's see. Oh, okay. We gonna take it because they just came out, and it just came out again in a different form. Okay, so we got heal emotional trauma. It says you survive what hurts you. Now let the pain become the seed of wisdom, strength, and spiritual growth. And that's the reason why it was like it's reiterating like, hey, you may have went through some things just like any and everybody else, right? But that don't mean that you gotta wear that shit as a badge of honor on your fucking sleeve. And even in the process or whatever, because you have went through some things, that don't mean sit over there and treat other people like you like they don't got feelings and shit too, like you out here losing your goddamn mind. I don't know who the hell that's for, but I just need that to be known. Because with the choosing wisely and them telling you to really sit in the womb, really sit in the wounds that maybe you have caused others. Okay? Seriously. And we said unblock the flow. It says your energy is stuck. Nothing moves. Start small, clean a space, cry it out, speak a truth, and movement is medicine. That's why I be telling y'all to get up and get out. I don't give a fuck if you got to walk down the street and play the Arthur anthem. Get to it. I really got to stop eating chocolate late. What I do think the biggest out of this unblock the flow is allowing a flow, okay? And with unblocking the flow, okay, even in this one, right? You have to really sit with the emotional trauma in order for it to heal. You need to sit with that. If you hurt right now, cry that shit out. I don't know what it is. I don't know when it happened where people are like being fake ass tough, like, oh, they can't be touched, or they feel like it is, or it is at least perceived as, right, where somebody crying is, they feel like that's a sign of like weakness, like that person is weak. No, if anything, they got enough common sense to know like, ouch, this paper cut fucking hurts, and I'm going through all the different emotions in real time, processing what is really happening here. Okay. Instead of just hurrying up, putting some goddamn coconut oil on that shit and then throwing a band-aid and then going back out there talking about good game. Like, that can perpetuate a certain denial cycle that is not healthy. Okay, which is also going to have in its own level of, you still got to heal the emotional leakage. I mean, seriously. But I do think that um whatever you're healing from, and you're taking your time to do so, and you're being more mindful, okay, or choosing wisely about the decisions you're making from this day forward, moving on. And that also goes to who you are choosing to nurture, whether if it is people, places, and things, or environments, but just as well as yourself, okay? Going by what actually feels like there's no resistance there. Really allowing a ebb and flow, okay? And doing things in a mindful way where it's like, that what goes around comes around. Okay, don't be out here buggy. And the reason why I say that is because the cycle stops with you. It says you are the one your ancestors prayed for. It says this pain ends in your hands, choose differently now. So they done said literally, choose wisely, choose differently, think about the shit that you're doing, really think about it. Really think about it. Really think about what you're doing. I don't know what you did, but you did something. You only know what you did. Sit with it. Emphasis on sit with it. Okay? Maybe you done said something, did something, whatever the case may be, and you done hit a certain nerve somewhere. Okay? Because somebody somewhere is like, hey, all right now. Um, and I don't necessarily think it's like something that you've done physically or anything like to a person, but we know, um if you don't know, let me enlighten you. A lot of times or whatever, even when it comes to people who are being quote unquote um raped, right? Um People end up staying with their abusers far more longer than um they want to, or the expectancy, if you will. Um because their brain starts to get used to the trauma. Weirdly enough, it becomes a new level, a new norm for them. Okay. And that's the reason why I'm saying make sure that whatever flow that you are allowing to come in, okay, if you are starting to feel stuck and feeling like things just aren't coming into fruition, you feel like there is no flow coming in, okay, well then first of all, starts with movement. You sitting still, babes. Get up, get up, get out. Okay, go for a walk, get some fresh air, clean up. It says literally clean the space. Start small, okay? Even if it is just like I've been in bed all day and not even on some depression shit. But sometimes depression can show up in different ways. Some people are functionally depressed, okay? But even in that word in itself is you needing deep rest. So after you get deep rest and you're feeling more energetic now, okay, now it's time for you to heavy on energetic. But now that you have the energy to do so, okay, because even with you sitting still, if your brain is going a mile a minute, then you are still at the potential risk of stagnancy. Okay. Like, yeah, there's some movement going on, but it's all up there in your brain. You got to actually put that somewhere. You got to put that energy somewhere instead of just storing it up like damn, acorns for the winter. You got to distribute it out and distribute it out in healthy ways. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because whoever we're talking about or whatever, I do think that one of the cycles that you are breaking is negative self talk, and how you speak with yourself and others. Okay. Because words can hurt, and words can sometimes linger far more longer than you dealing with some physical abuse sometimes. Okay. So yeah, you got clear negative energy. It says negative energy keeps you stuck. Clear it and create space for the positive flow of your life. So literally between and making sure that you're taking the necessary time and steps to make sure that you cleaning everything in its totality. Don't half-ass clean. Every single time I see this card or whatever, and I see that not all of this window is fucking clean, it pisses me off. Okay, I don't know if that's my OCD or what the hell. It's always some new acronym somewhere, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what people are saying in these days and times sometimes, but we used to call it OCD. Take it or leave it. Anyway, sitting in this process and really allowing yourself to take the time to wipe this window. And in the process of you wiping this window and getting rid of the negative energy, whether if it's negative energy that you know that you have spewed out onto others or have been spewing out to yourself. But I do feel like a lot of this is stuff that you've been doing towards yourself. But just because you've been doing it to yourself don't mean that the people around you aren't noticing that you've been doing it. Okay, and being mindful of the example that you set, especially if you have children. Okay, you be surprised these kids pay attention to more of what you do physically than what you ever gonna tell them. Okay, parenting does not come with instructions, and that is one of the instructions that I wish somebody would have told me. Okay, so I'm just trying to help somebody do something. um but yeah, movement is medicine. Okay, even them in this I think that's a kitchen. Yeah, let's just say in the kitchen or whatever. And they're like moving around and they're like, I think this is like they're canning jelly and preservatives or whatever. Like canning all the old fruits and stuff, whatever that didn't get ate right away, just so they can have a little more or a lot more longevity, right? Um, because even with this unblock the flow, I like the fact that in every one of these except for this one, but every most this one and this one where there is a window, the windows are open. Okay, so maybe even something as small as open a window and allowing that fresh air to hit your face, like it's hitting them. Okay, but even sometimes doing that, going outside and allowing the wind to just kind of like take you for a minute. Okay, on some Calgon shit. I don't know how much y'all know about Calgon, but that shit will take you away every time. Okay. um but just allowing some type of flow. Okay, I would also say, because there is water in these cards too, and there's earth. Okay, there's pretty much all the elements here. You got earth. You even got fire a little bit with this card. I guess that's like lava or something. We'll take it. But long story short, they're saying choose wisely, and I'm saying be mindful and choose wisely about you healing this emotional trauma of the negative energy, whether if it's negative energy you've been putting onto others and people around you. Hopefully not no damn kids, but if not, you need to apologize to them. Okay, you need to really sit. Okay, and or the people around you they need to really sit, and some things need to start being established as to how the new harvest is going to come in. Okay, because with the reap what you sow, if you're not being mindful, like, hey, you go fuck around and be in a goddamn cycle that you didn't want to be in. All right, you talking to yourself crazy. Who got time for that? But I do feel like y'all gonna get it. Y'all gonna get it. Because you understand that the cycle stops with you, and that's the reason why I'm saying it could be potentially you catching. It's almost like it's almost like they want me to warn somebody. Okay, because I don't know who the hell I'm talking to, but they want me to warn someone about their actions and how much of an impact that they can have on a relationship, whether if it is an adult relationship, but I'm gonna go with a kid because that's just how I'm seeing it in the card. Okay, really being mindful of what it is and the relationships and how we hold things amongst each other when it comes to the children, right? But I do feel like in this instance, with the fruit jam, it's coming out as more of a motivation saying, hey, continue on being mindful as to how you're speaking and moving and doing while this child is in your presence. Okay. Be more mindful as to the examples that you're setting, as to, how you are showing up um, in the ways that you do non-verbally. Okay. Because they watch everything, right? Um, Even with the cleaning. Okay. Teaching them to not half-ass clean, clean shit and follow through all the way. And in the process of you doing all these different things, they might perceive it like, oh yeah, we're just making jelly, but they're actually learning a far more deeper lesson in this. you know it may not hit them until they grown, but at the end of the day, you know why you're doing certain things. You also may be more mindful as to the repetitiveness as to why you're doing certain things. But at the end of the day, you're doing all this different stuff because you had to heal from a certain level of emotional trauma yourself, and you're trying to make sure that the cycle of the emotional trauma, you're making sure that the next generation don't go through that. And I'm here for it. Okay, that is so fucking beautiful. And you getting up and showing out and allowing movement to come in and allowing a flow at all times or whatever, so that you can continue to heal this emotional trauma regardless of what that may look like. But I do feel like a lot of it has to do with more of some of the non-verbals, and even if it is verbally, being more mindful as to how you are showing up and talking to yourself as well as talking to whoever this child is, whether if it's your own child or niece or nephew or whoever the fuck. Okay. um, but most importantly, just being mindful of clearing all the negative energy that could be potentially trying to reach out and grab you while you're going through your healing phase. And all those days that you just like, hey, this shit really hurts, allowing those days to be just as, um, allowing those days to come in with open arms just as well as any other day. Okay. These are just as valid, if not more, because when you sit in there and you're allowing yourself to cry it out and you're allowing yourself to, um, really feel, okay, because y'all be acting like these day and ages, people be really acting like feeling is, it's like a disease. Feelings, what is that? What you mean? What are you talking about? No, I'm supposed to be tough all day every day. But depending on who's looking around, or depending on the example that you're showing within that, right? You can't be mad when your child start doing that shit to you, and you trying to figure out why they're not being, uh, open, emotional. Okay. Yeah, and and that's why I'm saying that is because with this cycle stops with you, I feel like this is so important for the whole lineage, what you're doing. Okay. It really stops with you. Um, because it could have been something as easy as like, for generations this has been going on, where it's almost a new normal now for certain, um, families. Now, I don't know the scenario specifically, but I'm just going to throw one out there. Say because of the certain holiday that just passed, right? And everybody went to the gathering or whatnot, and you just so sick and tired of how everybody kind of like talks nice nasty to one another, talks down to each other or whatever, and you got tired of stomaching that or even being around that, and you was like, hey, we just gonna come up with our own tradition. Okay. And we gonna speak more positivity and allow the flow and stuff to come in. But the longer you keep accepting, okay, certain things, um, like I said, you could potentially putting your energy in a stuck state of position. Because, and the reason why I like that they use the word stuck, because that's literally what it is. Because at that point, your head and heart are on two different fucking wavelengths. They on two different frequencies. Your head is on some logical, like, what is you doing? You know this don't feel right, and yet you keep showing up to these gatherings, knowing how they be set up, and you know that you don't even want to be a part of this shit. And again, this is just an example. And then you just decide, you know what, for the sake of me and mine and how I'm trying to move forward and set a better example, yes, I'm going to take the time to heal. Yes, I'm going to take the time to sit there and what is hurting me, whether if it's been verbals or non-verbals from others, or even what I've been doing to myself. But most importantly, at the end of the day, you are doing this with the sole intent of understanding that this shit is bigger than you, which is the reason why they're saying choose wisely. Okay, you understanding that this cycle that you are breaking, basically, it stops with you, and you have encouragement from your gods, gods, what's it called, ancestors, source, spirit guides, whoever you choose to do as the name, but they're backing this up. They're definitely rooting for you and saying, hey, like, we got you. Okay, we got you. Okay, you just need to work a little bit harder, and you need to make sure that in the days that you even feel like you don't want to You just want to sit here, okay? It's one thing to allow it to feel and go through the process of feeling. Maybe it might even be two days or 2 or 3 days, but at some point you got to block that energy and understand that, because that's how energy works. It's cyclic, okay? So just as well as you could be sitting down like this one moment and crying everything, but sometimes after you cry and get that release, now you back on go mode. You're like, yeah, I'm about to rule the world in 24 hours. Whoa. Okay. Because at this point, when you get to this or whatever, you're realizing that it's not just about you. Okay. You're just the start to a new finish, a new way to finish, okay? But also reminding yourself that you are not with going this alone, I think is the biggest of it. Yes, you're healing your own emotional trauma and you're trying to help with making sure that you are being wise enough or choosing wiser in your decisions to make sure that the perpetual cycles aren't repeating themselves. But you got backup, okay? You're not going through this by yourself. So that was just so freaking beautiful. I feel like it was a mouthful, but it needs to be said because whoever this is, it's been a long, journey. I feel like of the healing of the emotional trauma that you've been working through, right? Um, you've definitely been working through it in silence. Okay. There's been a lot of nights where you've probably been like this behind closed doors. Um, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to be consistent and you have to make sure that you are not half assing. Okay. And what I mean by half assing is if you start in this process, just know not only is it going to take some time, but you're going to also ensure, like, hey, um, this ain't just about me. Simple as that. And understanding that what you put out, because energy is cyclical, or whatever, what you put out is what you get back. Okay. Simple as that. Yeah. Reap what you sow. Literally. Reap what you sow. So even on the days that you don't feel like doing something or whatever, you understand that everything is a lesson in itself. Okay. And to at the end of the day, the biggest of it is finding a balance with all the scenarios, different places and things or whatever. Okay. Ooh, this is definitely about to be my last one. Let's see what comes out. And that's that. But that's beautiful. Okay. It's definitely like whoever I'm speaking to, where congratulations on doing the necessary footwork to release and get rid of a generational curse in a sense. Okay. And then not only getting rid of it, because we understand how energy works, where you have to also fill that with something new, preferably something positive. So you know maybe the canned jellies, the canned jellies. Okay, we got two cards. First one is, it says, don't take anything personally to release self judgment. Okay, be careful with what you say to yourself and how you speak with yourself. And I do feel like that's all we've basically been talking about. But you're understanding that, yes, it's starting off with self. Self is the word that is coming out, but it's far more broader than what you thought, because the people that are around you, especially if there's children involved, and I really feel like there is some children involved, you're being mindful as to how they could be potentially perceiving how you're showing up and, like, you know looking into things. It says, even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. Therefore, you don't need to take whatever you hear in your own mind personally. Okay? Just because you saying something to yourself doesn't mean that just because you keep saying it to yourself over and over after a certain period of time, you start to believe that shit is true. But you need to be mindful of looking at the facts. Okay. It says, enjoy heaven on earth, to be impeccable with your words. Okay. Definitely choosing wisely when it comes to this whole emotional trauma and how you are showing up and speaking to yourself. Even when you like this, you are not only unblocking the flow, but you are talking to yourself with a lot more, giving yourself a lot more TLC, okay? Because he or she, whoever this is, they're crying even a little bit in this picture, but they know that they need to carry on and push through, okay? Impeccability of the word can lead you to personal freedom, success, and abundance. You can attain the kingdom of heaven from this one agreement. Be impeccable with your words. Being mindful how you talk to yourself, and also being mindful that with everything in the ways that you are showing up for yourself, from the nonverbals to even the verbals, okay? You have people who are in admiration that are looking up to you. And just because there's a child in this picture, it don't necessarily have to be a child. It could just simply just be the people that are around you. They're noticing how you showing up, how you talking to yourself, how you speak to yourself, how you are taking the necessary steps to day by day get a little bit closer to healing the emotional trauma and still being mindful of choosing not only yourself but choosing the next generation over the previous, because the cycle got to stop somewhere sometimes. Okay, so this is what I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here listening. If you would like a personal reading, you can always click the link on the description of any of the videos and be able to check my schedule, see if I have any sales going, or any of the things, right? um and yeah, in the meantime, in between time, take the time to really sit and allow yourself to feel. It's okay. You're going to be okay. Okay. And it's not like you, yes, even if you felt like you were alone at one point or whatever, and it might be more in the sense of like tangibly, maybe you feel like there's not so many people that you can talk to about what you have going on. But I would even highlight that it's okay to get some professional help too if you don't feel like the people around you can show up at the capacity for what you need. Okay. No more, no less. But please know that what you're doing is bigger than you, that the cycle stops with you. Okay? This cycle needed to stop, and they made you be the chosen one. Okay, so congratulations, and just keep on moving forward. You got this. So yeah, y'all, in the meantime, in between time, I will talk to you when I talk to y'all, and y'all be smooth.